Hi, everyone, and welcome to another A&B Horror Movies video. I'm Aaron.
I'm Ben.
And today we are joined by Owen Conway. Owen, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank
you
you.
for having me.
Awesome. Let's see. Well, you wear multiple hats. You're a director, you're an actor, you're a writer, you're an editor, you're a composer. What did I miss? Did I get everything there?
I think that's everything. I think that's covers the spectrum. Yeah.
Yes, well, very impressive. And we wanted to have you on today so we could talk about your new horror Western thriller called Ghost Town, which is out now. You can rent it on Amazon. You can purchase and rent it on Amazon. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere else. Is it on Tubi yet?
I don't think so. It's only been out for a month, so it's still just Amazon right now.
Okay, awesome. And that's where Ben and I watched it. But before we get into that, we're very excited to talk with you today about that film. I wanted to share a little bit about some of your other projects that you've worked on. You've been involved with the Krampus film. So let me just look at my notes here. Krampus: The Reckoning in 2015, Krampus Unleashed in 2016, and Krampus Origins in 2018. So from my research, I could see that you were involved with the writing. You're an actor in all of those films. And I think you work with your brother who was involved with them all, as I think he was the director, if that's correct.
Yeah. I also, one of my the first features I edited the whole way through was Krampus Unleashed, which was it was interesting because it was kind of a little more comedic and we had some great practical gore. So it was exploring the sort of timing of trying to get jokes to land while getting horror to land at the same time, which is interesting.
Cool. Well, maybe in December, if we'll have you and your brother on to do a Krampus video, which would be awesome. I also wanted to mention that you were involved in Eminence Hill, a 2019 Western film, which actually starred Barry Corbin, Lance Henriksen, and Dominique Swain, in addition to yourself, which is quite an impressive lineup.
Yeah, it was a really great experience. I didn't have a chance to work directly with Dominique. We had divergent storylines, but I worked with both Barry and Lance, and those guys are so awesome. Really, really just generous and very like down to earth guys. None of the kind of prima donna stuff you might expect from some people who have been in the business for so long. You know, they both read with me off camera, which they don't have to do that. They're really awesome. Really cool, both of them. Yeah,
they're both legends. Yeah, that's amazing to hear that they're really nice in real life too. Well, Ben, do you want to start with the first question?
Yeah,
I'll stop talking.
So by the way, I just want to say congratulations. Brilliant film. Horror, Western, fantastic mix. Was this always going to be a horror Western, or did you start with one idea first and then the other came in? Or
yeah, I think it was always the horror Western. I was a big fan of Robert Eggers' stuff. He's amazing, and the way he uses period stuff and almost like the horror, or the surrealism of maybe The Lighthouse kind of has the rules of how the time period, like the way the people of the period would think about it. And I Victorian era, which is the Old West, there was a big spiritualist movement. A lot of people started getting really into ghosts and all that kind of stuff, and so it made sense. And living in Arizona, the Western's very much part of the cultural DNA out here, so it you can get access to really great sets, and we had an amazing production and wardrobe designer, but we also had the opportunity to have people who were just Wild West enthusiasts who would come to set in full gear, ready to go. So it was trying to do what I could with what I had, and what I love about horror is that you can break the rules. You can do surrealism, you can do comedy, you can do drama, and have it all kind of still sell,
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it all came together nicely. And just to second what Ben said, congratulations. This is your first feature-length directorial debut film. Is that right? Debut film, right?
That's right. That's correct. I've done some I did some writing on my brother's movies, and I did some editing. but this was the first time I had taken the helm myself, which was it was quite imposing. But I think we live in a period right now where the technology is as such, you can do away with kind of a lot of the old way of doing things. For
Mhm.
I didn't action an awful lot, and I would just let the camera roll. If an actor flubbed the line, the impulse, I think, for a lot of directors is cut, reset. I just, I said, keep rolling, take a breath, and go with it. Since we're not shooting on film, there's no point in, you weren't moving the camera around too much. I like this idea of everything sort of still dead. So it was finding ways to sort of streamline it and simplify it, and that was interesting. I got really creative with some of that stuff.
Ah, very cool. I think you're glitching out a little bit. I don't know if it's just me, but we can hear you. So
Yeah.
I guess that's the good news.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the good news. You
Okay.
have to love technology, right? Maybe if we just wait a second, it'll all fall in line. But that was
Yeah.
that was a great answer. And I mean, I guess my follow-up question. I guess we've got like an echo too. My follow-up question would be, what was most challenging about directing your first film, and what was most challenging about directing your first film? What were some of the surprises, I guess?
The most challenging part, it's just sort of managing the pressure, really. It was but I was able to. I had a lot of prep time. I boarded out the whole movie, which I guess a lot of directors don't do anymore. It was a case of not knowing that directors don't do that anymore. But I boarded out the whole movie, so I had it made in my head in a lot of ways before I got to set. And then I also, like, I had written the character to sort of have these breakdowns along the way, and acting can be very therapeutic. So I scheduled it as such as to where, at a certain point I could have a freak out scene, and I could just let a lot of that stress out. It was very sort of Strasberg-y actor studio stuff. So it actually, the acting seemed, it was very helpful in that sense, just sort of channeling the stress through the performance. And Solomon throughout the movie is he's overwhelmed. He feels like the world's against him, and these are all feelings you get when you're not sleeping as much as you'd like to, and you're not and you're a little bit shooting in the dark. But I also I made a point of not having a sort of traditional casting process where you put out auditions and you put out a breakdown, you hold auditions. I auditioned a few people, but generally speaking, I just cast people I had worked with who I knew would be able to bring their A game and not need a lot of hand holding, because it just wasn't an option to be able to sit there and like direct everybody's performances. Even if I wasn't on camera the whole time, it's on an indie film, you're moving, like you've got to move fast. So I lucked out with my cast, but it was also by design. Finding people I knew were gonna bring the character fully formed.
Ahead of time, yes, that makes sense. And we should have mentioned that you are the lead actor in the movie as well. So you're the writer, the director, and you're in every scene, just about. So just to make
Just
that
about,
clear,
yeah.
just about. Ben, what do you got?
Yeah. So Aaron just said what was the basically the most difficult part of the film did you because in the film you took a couple of slaps, kicks. did you get hurt at any time, or was you pretty lucky?
I always feel like if you walk off of a set or a stage with some scrapes and bruises, it means you're doing your job as an actor. I'm not a masochist, but yeah, I wouldn't say I got seriously hurt or anything. And obviously you can, if you have somebody slap you over and over again, eventually you're just gonna have a big red mark on the side of your face, and that's gonna mess with continuity. So we one funny thing that kept happening was I kept banging my head on stuff by accident. It was like, it happens in like 3 or 4 scenes. I bang my head.
When you cut the door.
Yeah, the door.
Yeah, I see that.
It sort of just kept happening. Left it in. Some of them hit the cutting room floor, but it was at a certain point just getting ridiculous, and I was wondering if I was half doing it on purpose. But yeah, I did some. I don't think generally I walk away with a twisted ankle or some bruises and stuff, but it was a movie that was much more about acting than action. So which was again part of the design. It was the idea of just doing it a little bit more like a play, or like even kind of sort of like a one-man show.
Mhm.
So it was nothing physical, and everything that came out performance-wise was pretty just honest and truthful. So I guess in a sense I had some
Awesome.
mental scars, but I worked them out.
Worth it.
Good. Yeah. Well worth it, of course. Well, my question, I guess this might be kind of hard to answer because we try not to spoil films. But one thing that I really like about movies is the ending, if it makes you think. And this one was really thought provoking. Ben and I were chatting actually before the video, like how we interpreted the ending. Is there a way that you can maybe shed some light on that without giving away too much to those who haven't seen it yet? That's why I said it's kind of a tough question, but
Yeah,
put it out there in a way.
I can say sort of where I was inspired by, like what it was inspired by, and I think that'll probably be pretty spoiler free. I had recently seen, when I finished the script, I was writing the script, and before I'd gotten to the ending, I saw The Rise of Skywalker, which I don't want to, obviously be a critic or anything like that, but it was the use of Carrie Fisher after she was dead, and she was dead so recently. It felt, and I don't think that it was done for cynical reasons. I think kind of like the new Ghostbusters with Harold Ramis, it was done out of love and it was done out of respect.
Yeah.
But in essence, it's creepy and it's kind of ghoulish, and it disturbed me in the sense of that loss of autonomy, and it almost was like propping up a dead body on a horse and parading them in front of an army to so I guess that's sort of where it came from, and connecting that to some of the practices at the time with photography that's in the movie.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah.
Again, that stuff wasn't done it was done out of love, and it was done out of a desire to keep the person living forever, but it's still creepy as hell. And so yeah, it was inspired by movies. It's a movie inspired by movies. I write about what I know, I guess.
Very cool. Well, you definitely captured the creepiness, and I like that you can almost interpret the ending and what really happened in different ways.
Yeah.
And you can tell, I mean, by the end of maybe the first act or so, that things are amiss, and even the lead Solomon starts to realize things aren't right here. And it's nice because then the audience is kind of going along with him and experiencing everything he is at the same time. Just a nice touch. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Cool.
Not really a question, but my
That
take.
was the intent, so I'm glad that it landed. That's
Awesome.
Well, Aaron sent me a message saying, "Oh, was it this? Was it that?" It sort of put me on the spot, so I just writ back, "Not sure yet." So I'm still actually thinking about the ending. So that's how good the ending is. That it's definitely hours after watching, because I watched it this morning. It's the best time for me to get films in, and it's still, even when I was pottering around in the garden, I was like, oh, I wonder if this and that. So yeah, definitely good ending.
Oh, it stays with you, and that's a sign of a good film.
I really appreciate you saying that, because I believe that mystery is the most compelling thing, and that the nature of life after death is obviously highly disputed, and different people with different worldviews can gather different things from the narrative. I mean, it all kind of, I have a sort of logical by the book way it all makes sense, but it's not as interesting as someone else's interpretation would be. And that was really only there for me as an actor, just to know what to play. Again, going back to The Lighthouse, Robert Eggers, that movie kind of blew my mind, that just a movie like that could exist, with one of the most baffling endings easily of the last 10 years. I mean, it's still that's one that still sticks with me. Like, what the hell actually was happening there?
Yes, I've heard it's amazing. I own a copy, but I'm ashamed to admit I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard good things.
It's worth a watch. It's worth a couple of watches because if nothing else, the acting is just astonishing and the cinematography is beautiful. I think
Mhm.
Willem Dafoe has a 2-minute long monologue in there where the camera doesn't cut away from him and he doesn't blink the whole time. He's amazing. He's like an Olympian.
Wow.
Cool.
Wow. It's like the what is it, the monologue in Pearl at the end of that movie? That was
I still haven't seen Pearl, so that's
oh, okay, there you go.
there you go. So I'm not, we all have
Very
our homework.
There's a monologue at the end of that where you get so sucked into what she's telling, like the story she's telling, the character, that you almost forget that someone is telling the story to you.
Hmm.
It's amazing. Check it out.
She's
It's really
very
good. Yeah,
so
Mia
good.
Goth. Yeah, she's amazing. We digress a little bit. Ben, what do you have?
Locations and sets had a real good, as I said, Western feel to it. The I don't know what to call it, whorehouse or I don't know.
Yeah, the
The
gold
saloon.
saloon. Yeah.
The
Saloon.
Saloon.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, that was very good. Felt very authentic. Just wondering where they were and were they built and
They were it was all shot on location at Pioneer Living History Museum. So it's a museum with these old buildings. A lot of them are reconstructions, but I think a lot of them are originals. It was like an original settlement, sort of like a colonial Jamestown would be on the East Coast.
Oh, cool.
And we just, my brother had a relationship with the owners, and they're very much Western fans. Luckily they didn't read the script and realize it's not quite a Western, but that's okay. It's it's a little more of a horror movie for sure, but it was almost like having our own backlot, because we and even writing the script, I wasn't sure we would get it, but I was hoping we would, and I kind of wrote the locations around, again, what I had access to, which is, I think, the most important thing for a first-time filmmaker is to write to what you have, and try not to. Obviously, when you're writing, you want to let your imagination go, but when you're writing a screenplay that you intend to make, it's good to consider within your means, to write within your means, I guess is the best way to put it. And I was very lucky that we did work it out with Pioneer, and they were very accommodating.
Have they watched the movie yet? Do you know?
I'm not sure if they have. I've been
It was
on,
an awesome set. Yeah.
I know that they have an Instagram page, and they threw up some stuff about the movie as we were shooting it, but we've I've yet to actually hear from anybody at Pioneer, but I think my brother's going back to them again for another movie. So clearly it didn't turn them off.
Well, fingers crossed. Yes. Yeah, the sets were awesome. It was really believable. It looked great.
super good.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, there was some stuff I had to do some, we had to do some VFX that sort of extended stuff, or did some painting, but for the most part, the sets were pretty practical. Yeah, pretty much 100% practical.
Very cool.
Oh.
So I know you mentioned the casting process. I have to ask, what was it like working with Eva Hamilton? Only because we had Eva on our show a few months back. Robert Sprayberry and Becky Jo Harris, the leads. Second to you, of course.
My team,
Your team, yes.
my three principals. Eva was amazing. She's such a pro, and someone who really digs horror. So was one of the first people I cast, and one of the first people who read the script, and she came to it with an interpretation of the ending. Again, no spoilers. Interpretation of the ending I hadn't really considered. So that's when, like, her first reaction was when I kind of realized, hey, we have sort of a Rorschach movie on our hands here, and we could play to that. But just such an unbelievable pro, and Becky was Becky generally does a lot of comedy, so she was I think really happy to flex some of her other muscles, and you can see she's just she's a really skilled dramatic actor as well. She has some very heavy lifting to do as Stella, and just nailed it. She was a first take wonder. There were a couple of times she has, sort of a monologue, and she was able to nail it on the first take. I almost always use her first take. Eva too.
Awesome.
Sprayberry, my man Sprayberry, he teaches at my old acting school as one of his side gigs. Sorry, that's my cat. One of his side gigs. So he had done my first one act play, was a part of this kind of semi-annual series of plays about mental health called The Light and Dark Places, run by my friend Kelly O'Malley. She has a Texas one and an LA one, and Robert was in the one that I wrote. So he was a guy who he just got my writing.
He
I'm
was great.
developing my style and my voice, but I do try to have something distinct. And he really just seemed to get the rhythm of it, the cadence of it, the sort of use of repetition. You get the humor of it. And so Hagen it was a minute before I had thought about Spray for Hagen, because Sprayberry is such a laid back, relaxed guy. Like, he's a musician, long hair. He's 100% not Hagen. And yet, he nailed it, and he was able to bring a sort of humanity to Hagen that wasn't necessarily on the page. And he had a lot of dialogue. He really is the engine of those scenes so much. And it was a stretch for him, but one he was more than capable of. And he really, I found myself liking his Hagen far more than I did the Hagen I wrote, which I think deepens the sadness of the, what happens.
The situation. Yes. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great cast, great choices.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of like the sergeant and the sheriff, the same bloke who played in Full Metal Jacket and the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
a little bit of an Arlie Ermy thing. Yeah. You'll like that. I'll tell him that.
That's awesome. What's that guy's? Erman is his last name?
Arlie Ermy.
Okay. Yes, that's it. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Sorry.
he's a great actor.
Yeah.
That's a good compliment. Well, let's see. Two quick things. Not really questions, but I did want to comment on. There's one scene early on in the film. I happen to watch a lot of my movies at the gym, like on the treadmill or the elliptical. There's one scene at the bar where something very explosive happens. It was so unexpected that I was very startled on the exercise equipment. There was a gunshot. It was like, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. That was amazing. And there's another scene, I'm pretty sure it's Becky Jo Harris. There's like a spider that crawls across her face.
Yeah.
That was so effective and creepy.
Oh, that's so cool to hear. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, nicely done. Let's see. Well, I think we covered all the questions I have about the film. Ben, do you have any more? I have some general questions I can ask. I think we lost Ben. Oh my God, we're having so many technical difficulties today. Yeah, early on there was some glitching when you were talking, but let's give Ben a moment to jump back on, and then we'll just edit this piece out when it comes back. What did you say your cat was doing in the background?
He's just meowing and making noise. I don't know what he wants. What do you want, buddy? He just wants to be on camera.
My cat is sitting right here looking at me. You can't see, but she's like right here. My dog was down here, but oh no, she's over there eating paper. Awesome.
Yeah, the pets.
Yes. Yeah, so when Ben comes back on, we're just going to ask a few more questions and then maybe a couple trivia questions, and we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good.
I'm just going to I'll just keep recording. Hopefully we see if he messaged me. Nothing yet. Oh, here it comes.
There he is.
There we go. I think. Let me. He's connecting.
Did I vanish?
Disappeared, man. The interview's over.
Again? I thought it was everyone else. I thought
Oh,
it was everyone else. I was just sort of sat there like, hello.
I was telling Owen, I was like, "Oh, there's your cat. So cute."
Yeah, Charlie.
Mine is black. Mine's a similar but tuxedo cat.
I love the tuxedo cats. Check it out, Charlie. You got a buddy.
Hey, look, she's not happy. So Ben, I was telling Owen that we'll just cut out that piece and edit it
Okay,
together.
cool.
When you disappeared, we were just chatting. Okay, so let's go right back into it. Where were we? So my next question for you doesn't really relate to the movie, but we often ask this of folks we have on, and that is, what is your favorite horror movie?
The Exorcist, the original Exorcist. Fires on all cylinders for me, scared the hell out of me then, scares the hell out of me now.
Good choice.
Multi-layered, you know, and incredible acting and a real drama there beyond the scares. And you know, yeah, it's The Exorcist.
Great choice. I'm actually reading the book right now for the first time. Never read it.
The book
It's
is
good.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. What are your thoughts on the reboot? Are you excited, optimistic?
I'm
worried
cautiously
about it?
optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic, I would say. I always you know, I always want to give everything a chance, but it's how can you improve on perfection? You know what I mean? It's
Of course. Yes, we'll see. I'm glad to hear that Ellen Burstyn, and I think they announced that Linda Blair is coming back too,
the blood's coming back too.
that they'll be on it. So
Both of
that's
that.
exciting.
Right.
Go ahead, Ben.
No,
You say something?
no, I was just saying I'm hyped for it as well,
Yes.
but hoping that it's good. They've done quite good things with films so far, haven't they? Blue Mouse with Halloween and everything. So I thought it was pretty
Evil
good.
Dead Rise was pretty good. I saw it.
Yeah, I'm
recently.
looking forward to that. Well, I haven't gotten to the theater
That was
for
good.
that.
No, I haven't seen that.
All right, why don't we do a couple horror trivia questions? So we have we use a horror Trivial Pursuit game.
Cool.
These are the categories. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
We just have to pick a category.
All right, let's go with psychological.
Psychological, that is the brain. Let's see. Let's see. What is the nickname Martin Mathias is given by the disc jockey in Martin 1978?
Haven't seen that one.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that one's
The Count. Yeah, that's a hard one. Let me do another one. What 80s horror film did director Fede Alvarez? How do you say his first name? Fede. I know him. I just never had to say his name out loud. Remake prior to making Don't Breathe 2016. Oh, I think I know this. I think it's the Evil Dead. We were just talking
I
about.
want to say, yeah, it was either Evil Dead or it was the Friday the 13th one.
Oh, it was Evil Dead.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know who did the Friday the 13th remake. I'll have to look it up.
yeah, it was good though. I like that one.
Yeah, I quite like that. That was probably one of my favorite Jasons, actually. It's quite cool.
Yeah, he was freaky and he was scary in that one.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed. Let's see. In what century does The Village take place? Ben, your favorite movie? 18th, 19th, or 20th, or 21st? 20th century?
Yeah.
Up 21st century.
Really? Is it that
I guess
recent?
so.
I thought it was like 90s. I guess that makes sense.
No, I think it was. It says right here, 2004.
Wow.
Let's do one more. In Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, 1931, how many actors portrayed Jekyll and Hyde?
In the 1931?
The original one, yeah.
I think it's just one. I think it was just Lon Chaney Sr.
I would say one, too. One actor, Frederick March, performs both roles. All right, those weren't too bad. Oh, here's a fun one. Pet Sematary. In Pet Sematary, what type of vehicle hits Gage Creed on the highway near the family house?
It's a semi truck.
It's the big truck, right?
Big semi
It
truck.
just says a truck, so I guess we win. All right. Well, this has been awesome. We always throw in some trivia at the end because people seem to have fun with it. I guess one last question that I have, which we often ask our guests, is if you could have dinner with anyone in the film industry, alive or dead, who would that be and why?
Oh.
I think I said Wes Craven last time.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. Well, it could be a dinner party, I guess.
I think I would really like to talk to Jordan Peele.
Oh, cool. That's a good choice.
His movies are so interesting, and he's somebody who started off in comedy and as an actor. And I think
That's
right
a
now
good choice.
Jordan Peele, yeah.
That's good. I can't tell you how many times I get AA wrong.
Hey, Aaron, you done messed up,
You
Aaron.
done messed up. Yes, yes. In fact, last night I went to an event to meet the Fright Night actors, and the lead guy who played Charlie, William Ragsdale, he said, "You done messed up, Aaron," right before he signed his autograph. And my buddy was like, "I can't believe you got him to say that."
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Ben, you got any final questions for Owen?
Physical media, is it being released on Blu-ray, DVD?
Supposed to have a DVD release at some point. I'm not sure exactly when yet, but I'll throw it up on my social media when that's an option.
Yeah, let us know. We can do the same. Go ahead, Ben.
Do you know if that would be for UK and stuff as well? As it's,
I think so. I'm pretty sure we have a UK distribution in line, so I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
finally.
Good question. Yeah, finally you'll get some movies, although you have plenty behind you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Owen. This has been great. Your new film, Ghost Town, is on Amazon. Make sure to check it out there.
Definitely.
And if there's anything that you would like us to cover in a future video, add a comment on YouTube and we will consider it.
Yep, go over to Instagram, follow us over there, A&B Horror Movies. Also on YouTube, obviously, if you're seeing this video, yeah. And just a big thanks to Owen for coming on, because film was good, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers.